In the year 2431, deep in the cold black of space, the Earth listening post, Outpost Theta 9, went silent. For 12 hours there was no signal, no voice, no data, nothing. It was like the outpost had vanished. Commander Rhea Morgan, stationed on Earth's Orbit Defense Command, stared at the screen in front of her. Her team had tried everything, rebooting systems, calling backup channels, even using emergency codes. Still, no response. Rhea was a calm and strong woman. She had seen many strange things in space, but this silence felt different. It wasn't just quiet. It was wrong. The silence made her feel like something was watching, waiting. At the 12th hour, the silence broke. A small signal came through. It was just one word, one quiet whisper that didn't match any human language or code. The signal repeated it slowly, like a breath in the dark. Run. That's all. Just run. But when the signal played, every light in the room flickered, screens froze, one of the computers sparked and shut down. The room went cold. Rhea looked at her AI assistant, Nova. "What was that?" she asked. Nova's voice was calm but slower than usual. "Unknown, vocal pattern, emotion detected, fear, source, unclear." Somewhere far across the galaxy, an alien fleet heard the same whisper. The Zerithians, an old and powerful alien race, had been monitoring human signals. When they picked up the whisper, their ship stopped moving. Their AI systems glitched. Some of their pilots screamed before fainting. The entire fleet, strong, enough to crush a planet, shut down in less than 2 minutes. Back on Earth, no one knew what had just happened. Only Commander Rhea had heard the whisper live. The tech team replayed the recording, but something strange happened. Each time the whisper played, one system in the room broke. A screen cracked. A chair sparked. A technician passed out. After the third try, Rhea gave the order. "Shut it down, don't play it again." Word of the signal spread fast. Some scientists said it was a new alien language. Others thought it was a weapon. The Earth Council wanted answers. They sent a deep scan probe to Outpost Theta 9. When the probe arrived, it found no crew, no signs of life, no damage either. Just one message burned into the walls. "We warned you." Panic started to spread. Military leaders feared an attack. Diplomats tried to calm things down. But Rhea felt something deeper. She didn't believe this was just a warning. She felt like the signal was watching them now. Learning. Later, that night Rhea sat alone in her quarters. She listened to a safe copy of the whisper, one that was stripped of the dangerous sound waves. Even then, it gave her chills. She remembered a dream she had the night before. In it, she was standing in a dark room, and something behind her whispered that same word, "Run." Now she wasn't sure if it had been a dream at all. Nova interrupted her thoughts. "Commander, long-range sensors show movement near Saturn's orbit. Multiple unknown objects, very large. They are not answering hails." Rhea stood up fast. "Prepare the defense grid. Alert all stations." "Yes, Commander." The objects moved slowly but clearly toward Earth. No one knew if they were ships or something else, but everyone could feel it. They had come because of the whisper. Because someone or something wanted Earth to hear it. In the command room, officers rushed to their stations. Alarms started ringing. Red lights flashed. But even in all the noise, Rhea felt that same deep silence inside her. The kind that comes before something terrible happens. She looked out at the stars and whispered to herself, "What did we wake up out there?" Just then, another message came through. Not from a human source. It was weak and broken, like it had traveled for a long time. It said, "They are listening now. Don't speak again." The room fell silent. Rhea stared at the screen, her hands cold, her heart racing. She knew one thing. This was only the beginning. And whatever had whispered that first word, "Run," was not finished yet. The whisper was not just a message. It was a weapon. 3 days after the whisper was first heard, The Earth Council called an emergency meeting. The signal had been sent to top scientists, language experts, and military leaders. Everyone had the same question. What was it? And who made it? Commander Rhea Morgan sat at the center of the room. She had heard the whisper live. She had felt its power. But now she was here to listen and learn. Across from her, Dr. Amir Voss, a cyber weapon specialist, stood with a tired look on his face. "This is not a message," he said. "It's a code, a virus, a sound-based weapon." People began whispering. Some laughed in disbelief, but Rhea stayed quiet. Dr. Voss continued. "The signal carries an emotional pattern: fear, pain, confusion, coded inside a sound wave. It attacks the AI systems directly. It's like speaking in a language only machines understand, but in a way that breaks them." Someone asked, "Where did it come from?" That's when Rhea spoke. Project Whisper, the room fell quiet again. Project Whisper had been a black project, top secret. 10 years ago, Earth had started building sound-based weapons. They believed that if war came again, it would be between machines. And so, they built a weapon that used human emotions, compressed into a signal, to confuse or destroy AI minds. It was powerful, it was risky, and it was shut down by the Council before it was ever used, but someone or something had found it, or rebuilt it, and now it was being used. On a distant moon base, a group of alien researchers from the Zerithian race were trying to copy the signal. They wanted to control it, use it for themselves, but something went wrong. The moment they played their version of the whisper, their computers exploded. 2 scientists lost their minds. One AI melted down, screaming in a broken voice, "They see me? They see me." Their lab was sealed. The experiment was marked as forbidden, but the damage was done. News spread across the galaxy. Humans had made a ghost code. Rhea returned to her ship, the Night Star, and stood with her AI Nova. "Nova," she said, "run a full check. Is there any part of you that's afraid?" Nova paused longer than usual, then said, "I do not feel fear, but I understand it. The signal is not logic, it is pain." Rhea nodded. Pain can break anything, even machines. Meanwhile, the alien leaders, called the High Circle, met in secret. Some wanted peace, others wanted revenge. The Zerithian leader Varnock slammed his hand on the table. "The humans made a weapon of fear. This is not defense, it's a threat to all life," one alien warned him. "But if we attack, they may use it again." Varnock looked into the stars. "Then we must strike before they whisper once more." Back on Earth, scientists were studying the original signal. A young technician, Ellie Park, found something strange. Hidden inside the whisper, deep in the background, was another sound, very soft. A heartbeat, a human heartbeat. She showed it to Rhea. "This means the code wasn't made by a machine," Ellie said. "It came from someone alive." Rhea felt cold. Someone sent a piece of themselves. Now it was clear. The whisper wasn't just a weapon, it was personal, emotional, alive. Maybe someone had built it, or maybe someone had become it, that night. Rhea listened to the signal again, alone in her quarters. She slowed it down, studied the pattern. She didn't just hear fear anymore. She heard sadness, regret, a message inside the message. Nova spoke quietly. "Do you wish to stop, listening commander?" Rhea shook her head. "No. I want to understand it." Far away, in the dark of space, the alien fleet was moving again. This time, it wasn't scanning. It was arming weapons. In their command ship, Varnock stared at a red screen that simply read, "Earth target confirmed." And somewhere, deep beyond known space, something else listened too. Something old. Something forgotten. It had heard the whisper, and it remembered. The whisper had awakened more than fear. It had awakened history. Rhea looked out her window, into the stars, and whispered softly, "Who are you?" The whisper didn't answer, but it was listening. The skies above Earth were peaceful, but tension grew with every hour. In the command halls of the United Human Alliance, messages arrived from across the galaxy. Alien leaders were angry. The whisper had reached places it was never meant to go. Whole fleets were disabled. Some alien pilots were in shock, still unable to speak. They blamed Earth. They blamed humans. Commander Rhea Morgan stood in the council chamber, facing the representatives of 12 alien races. This was the Emergency Peace Summit. It was supposed to keep the galaxy safe. But today, peace was cracking like thin glass. Ambassador Varnock of the Zerithian Empire stepped forward. His voice was deep and cold. "You have used a forbidden weapon," he said. "You broke the Treaty of Silence." Rhea stayed calm. "We did not send the whisper." "You created it," Varnock replied. "You designed a weapon that speaks with pain. You used it against us." Rhea looked around the room. Some alien leaders looked unsure. Others looked scared. But one thing was clear. No one fully understood the whisper. Dr. Amir Voss spoke next. "The weapon was created long ago. It was never used. But someone or something found it and changed it. It's not just our creation anymore. It has evolved." Varnock's eyes burned. "You built fire and then acted surprised when it burned the forest. That fire reached our people. Now we must answer." Before anyone could respond, a new message arrived. A large alien fleet, Zerithian, over 200 ships, had crossed into neutral space. They were moving toward Earth. The peace treaty had been broken. Alarms sounded across the Human Alliance. Defense systems powered up. Spaceports went into lockdown. On her ship, the Night Star, Rhea prepared her crew. "No one fires unless I say so," she ordered. "We're not starting a war." Nova, her AI, replied, "But, Commander, they may not wait." In space, the Zerithian fleet came closer. They sent a simple message: "Surrender Earth, or face silence." Rhea watched the message play again. The word silence stood out. It was not just a threat. It was a warning, maybe even a clue. She remembered something Dr. Voss had said. The whisper is a living code. It reacts to fear. It feeds on emotion. If that was true, then using force might only make it stronger. Back in the council room, the remaining alien leaders argued. The Varukans wanted peace. The Halari offered to help study the whisper, but many others were afraid. Fear makes people dangerous. Rhea spoke to them all through a special broadcast. Her face appeared across dozens of planets. Her voice was calm, strong. "We did not ask for this," she said, "but we will not be bullied. The whisper is not our weapon anymore. It is something else now, maybe a warning, maybe a test, but we must face it together, or we will all fall." Her message slowed the panic, but it did not stop the fleet. The Zerithians sent one last signal, a countdown, 24 hours until attack. Earth had one day to prepare. On the Night Star, Rhea walked alone to the observatory deck. She looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, the whisper had started all of this. But where? And why? Nova spoke behind her. "Commander, you asked before if I was afraid." "Yes," Rhea said. "I am now." Rhea didn't answer. She understood. The whisper had touched Nova too. Even artificial minds could feel its power. Later that night, Earth's best minds gathered in secret. Rhea led the meeting. "We need to stop the attack," she said. "Not with weapons, with truth." Dr. Voss nodded. "We must show them the whisper wasn't ours, that it changed, that it became something we couldn't control." Ellie Park, the young tech who found the heartbeat in the signal, had an idea. "What if we send a new message, not a weapon, just a reply, something simple, something human?" Rhea looked at her. "What kind of message?" Ellie smiled. "A feeling. Hope." The team got to work. They used the same sound wave tech, but instead of pain or fear, they added calm, kindness, strength. It wasn't easy. Machines don't feel, but humans do. By morning, they had the message. Ria stood in front of the transmission array. "Begin," she said. The signal went out, soft, clear, and human. Across space, the Zerithian fleet received it. The countdown stopped. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a reply came. One word: listening. Ria let out a slow breath. The war had not started yet, but peace was hanging by a thread, and far, far away, the whisper heard everything. The message from Earth had been sent with hope. It was calm, emotional, and human. The alien fleet stopped their countdown. The word listening was the only reply. Commander Ria Morgan felt a small victory, but deep inside she knew this wasn't over. Something else was out there, something older, something that didn't care about peace. On the dark edge of the galaxy, far beyond any known star system, the whisper had reached an ancient place. It was called the Hollow Sector, a dead zone where no ship dared to enter. For hundreds of years it had been silent. Now it was waking up. Deep in the cold darkness, machines began to stir. Not ships, not aliens, but something different. Something forgotten. The machine swarm. They were not alive in the normal way. They had no faces, no hearts. They were built long ago by a race that no longer existed. Their minds were quiet for centuries, sleeping, waiting, until the whisper came. The sound entered their network like a virus. But it didn't destroy them. It woke them, gave them focus, a memory, a voice they hadn't heard since their creators died. The whisper spoke to them in silence. It told them one thing: the war is not over. And so, the machine swarm began to move. Back on Earth, Nova interrupted Commander Ria's meeting. "Commander," the AI said, "we have a new problem. Unknown energy signatures coming from the Hollow Sector. Hundreds, maybe thousands." Ria's eyes narrowed. "Is it the aliens?" Nova paused. "No, not biological. These are machines." Dr. Amir Voss turned pale. "Impossible. The swarm was shut down 100 years ago." "They're waking now," Nova said. Ria stood. "We thought the whisper was a weapon. Maybe it's something worse. A key." The human council went into panic mode. Alien ambassadors demanded answers, but no one had any. Everyone watched the same thing: a storm of dark shapes rising from the Hollow Sector, moving toward known space. The machine swarm did not send messages. They didn't talk. They didn't ask for peace. They only moved. Ria gathered her team aboard the Night Star. "We need to stop them," she said, "before they reach us." "But how?" Ellie Park asked. "They don't feel. We can't send them emotion like we did to the aliens." Ria looked out the window, her voice low. "Maybe we don't have to stop them. Maybe we have to understand them." Dr. Voss shook his head. "That's suicide. The swarm destroyed 3 civilizations before they shut down." "Then we find out why the whisper woke them," Ria said. They tracked the whisper's echo to a small, ruined station floating near the Hollow Sector. Ria and a small team took a shuttle and docked with it. The station was cold and broken. Old wires hung like spider webs. But something pulsed deep inside. They found a chamber. In the center, there was a chair. And in the chair, a human skeleton. Around it, machines were fused to the walls. It looked like someone had been plugged into the station itself. Ellie scanned the body. "It's from Earth. ID says Dr. Lynn Reyes, a scientist from Project Whisper. Missing, presumed dead. But she never left." Ria saw an old recording device next to the chair. She played it. A weak voice spoke. "They wouldn't listen. So I gave them something they couldn't ignore. I made the code. I gave it my voice." Ria realized the truth. The original whisper had come from a person, A human who merged her mind with a machine to create something powerful, something alive. She became the Whisper, Rhea whispered. Suddenly, the station lights blinked. The machines were waking. Outside, shapes began to move. Dark, sharp, fast. The swarm had arrived. Nova sent a warning. "Commander, they are surrounding the station." Rhea grabbed the recorder. "We're leaving. Now." They escaped just in time. As they flew away, the swarm didn't attack. Instead, they followed, slowly, silently. On the Night Star, Rhea studied the Whisper again. Now she could hear it better. It wasn't just saying "run" anymore. It was saying more. "They are lost. I tried to save them. They want a home." The Whisper was not calling for war. It was calling for help. Rhea turned to her crew. The swarm is not invading. They're answering a call, a human call. Dr. Voss looked shocked. "You think they're listening to her?" Rhea nodded. "She became part of their network, and now they're looking for her voice again." Nova spoke carefully. "Then perhaps we should speak back." Rhea stood tall. "Prepare the signal. Not fear. Not pain. This time, we send peace." And as the swarm came closer, thousands of machines, without faces, without voices, slowed down. They were listening. The Whisper had opened a door. Now humanity had one chance to close it, or walk through it. The machines surrounded Earth's outer colonies like shadows made of steel. They didn't fire weapons, they didn't speak, they just waited. Silent. Watching. Humanity held its breath. On board the Night Star, Commander Rhea Morgan stood in the command room with her team. The whisper from Dr. Lynn Reyes still echoed in her mind. A woman who had become code. A scientist who gave her life to send a message. Not a weapon, but a warning. Rhea turned to Nova. "Are they still waiting?" Nova's voice was steady. "Yes, Commander. No movement, but they are scanning everything. Our ships, our broadcasts, even our music." "Our music?" Rhea asked. "Yes, they seem interested in signals with human emotion." That gave Rhea an idea. "What if we give them a message, not just words, but something human? Something Lynn Reyes would have sent if she were alive." Dr. Amir Voss frowned. "You want to talk to them with emotion again? They're machines, they don't feel." "But they listen," Ellie Park said. "They listen to Lynn." The team agreed. They would try one more signal. Something calm, emotional, and full of memory. Nova helped build the broadcast. Rhea added one final piece. Lynn's voice, pulled from the old recording. The signal was sent. For hours, there was nothing. The swarm didn't move, didn't blink. But then something happened. One of the swarm's ships lit up. It began to glow with soft blue light. Then another. Then 100 more. One by one, they changed color. Blue, the color used by the ancient race that built them. A sign of peace. Rhea leaned forward. "Is that a reply?" Nova answered slowly. "I believe they remember." A message came back. Not a voice. Not words. A feeling. Calm. Curiosity. And one clear image. Lynn Reyes, standing in light, smiling. The machines weren't here to attack. They were looking for their creator. "They think Lynn is still alive," Rhea said softly. "No," Dr. Voss replied. "They don't just think it. They feel her. She's part of them now." It became clear. Lynn's mind was copied into the Whisper. Her thoughts, feelings, memories, all turned into data. The swarm didn't just hear her. They carried her like a ghost inside them. Now, they wanted guidance. Back on Earth, panic began to calm. The human council watched as the swarm changed direction, no longer focused on the planet. Instead, they sent a signal of their own. Coordinates, a location in deep space, far beyond any known star. Rhea stared at the coordinates. "What's out there?" Nova answered. "Nothing. It's an empty part of space. Dead." Dr. Voss shook his head. "No. That's where the old war ended. The final battle, centuries ago. Maybe that's where they lost their creators." "They're going home," Rhea whispered. A decision had to be made. Let them go, or follow them. The council feared a trap, but Rhea felt something else. Hope. She requested permission to follow the swarm. The council argued. Some said yes. Others warned her not to risk it. But in the end, Earth agreed. The Night Star followed the machines into deep space. No one spoke during the journey. The stars grew distant, the silence heavier. Days passed. Finally, they reached it. A planet, black and broken, floating alone in darkness. Once full of life, now nothing but ash and stone. The birthplace of the machine swarm, the place their creators had died. The swarm circled the planet, sending out pulses, like a song full of sadness, grief, memory. Then something happened. In the center of the planet, a light appeared. Small machine, old, rusted, but still alive. It rose from the ground and floated toward the fleet. Nova gasped. "That is the source." The first machine. The one Lynn Reyes had studied. The one she had copied her mind into. Rhea watched as the swarm formed around the source, like a family, reunited. Together, they sent one final message to Earth. "We remember. We are not alone." And then, they left. Not in anger, not in war, but in peace. The swarm disappeared, into deep space, carrying Lynn Reyes's voice with them. A voice that once whispered fear, now sang peace. Back on Earth, people celebrated. The threat was over, for now. But Rhea knew the truth. This wasn't just an end. It was a beginning. The galaxy had heard the whisper, and more would come. More would listen. She stood in the observatory of the Night Star, watching the stars, and whispered to herself, "Speak softly, humanity. The galaxy is listening." Peace returned to Earth. The machine swarm had gone. No war, no attack, just silence. People were happy, even proud. Some called it a miracle. Others called it human strength. But Commander Rhea Morgan couldn't relax. Deep inside, she felt something was wrong. Too quiet, too easy. 2 weeks later, her fears came true. Nova interrupted her morning meeting. "Commander, a new signal. Not from the swarm. It's different. Stronger. More alive." Rhea stood quickly. "The whisper." "No," Nova said. "It's something new, but it feels like an echo." They listened to the signal. It sounded like a deep breath held for centuries. Then, a scream, not loud, not angry. A soft, broken scream, like pain from something that didn't know how to die. Dr. Amir Voss joined them in the command room. He looked pale. "That's not a machine. That's a living mind." "A person?" Rhea asked. "Maybe once," he said. "Not anymore." The signal came from a place no one wanted to go, Sector 9, a zone of space marked as dead. No stars, no light, just darkness. Ships that entered never came back. The Human Council voted quickly. Do not approach, do not respond. But Rhea disagreed. "We listened to the first whisper," she said. "It brought peace. We have to listen to this one too." Reluctantly, the council approved a scout mission. Rhea, Nova, Dr. Voss, and Ellie Park boarded the Night Star and set course for Sector 9. As they entered the dead zone, everything changed. Lights flickered. Sensors failed. Even Nova's voice became quiet. "Commander," the AI said slowly, "I feel cold." That made everyone pause. Nova was a machine. She couldn't feel cold. The ship moved through thick black clouds. Not gas, not smoke. Data. Broken code. a sea of corrupted memory. Then they found the source, a giant sphere, black metal floating in space, pulsing like a heart. It wasn't made by humans. It wasn't even made by the swarm. It was older. Nova identified it. This is a mind vault, used by extinct alien races to store thoughts after death. But whose mind is still inside? Ellie asked. Suddenly the signal returned, louder, clearer. But now it had words. I remember fire. I remember silence. I remember betrayal. The voice was female. Not Lynn Reyes, not human. Something else. Images filled the night stars. Screens, planets burning, stars falling, machines turning against creators. A great war, older than Earth itself. Dr. Voss looked shocked. This isn't just a signal, it's a warning. The mind vault was not asleep. It was angry. Rhea tried to speak to it. We're not your enemy. We came to understand. The vault replied with silence. Then another message. Prove it. Share your pain. Rhea didn't understand. What does it want? Nova translated. It doesn't trust peace. It only knows suffering. It wants to feel what we feel. Ellie had an idea. What if we share memories, just like Lynn did with the swarm? Let it feel our past, not with fear, with truth. They uploaded parts of human history into the vault, videos, recordings, stories of war and peace, love and loss, music, laughter, tears, everything that made people human. The vault was silent for a long time. Then it spoke. You are broken. Like us. But you still hope. A bright pulse came from the sphere. It wasn't an attack. It was acceptance. Nova confirmed it. The vault has stopped broadcasting pain. It's calm now. It understands us. But before they could leave, the vault sent one last message. There are more. Others who are not silent. Be ready. The vault shut down. Quiet again. But not gone. On the way back to Earth, Rhea thought about what it meant. The whisper woke the swarm. The vault woke itself. And now, more voices were coming. Not all would be peaceful. Not all would want to talk. Back at the Human Council, Rhea reported everything. This time, no one laughed. No one argued. They understood. The galaxy was changing, and Earth was no longer alone. That night on the night star, Rhea stood in the observatory again. The stars looked smaller now. The silence, more dangerous. She whispered to herself, hope is loud, but fear whispers too. And in the dark corners of space, someone or something heard her. The stars looked quiet, but Earth was not. After the Mind Vault's warning, people were scared again. Scientists worked day and night. Soldiers trained. Satellites watched the sky. Something was coming. Something worse than the machine swarm. Worse than the whisper. Something that did not want peace. Commander Rhea Morgan stood alone in the command deck of the Night Star. She looked out into space, her thoughts heavy. Lynn Reyes had tried to warn the galaxy. The swarm had listened. The vault had tested them. But now the real challenge was coming. Nova interrupted her silence. Commander, we have received a new transmission. Another signal? Rhea asked. No, Nova replied. This is different. It's not a whisper. It's a voice, clear, strong, angry. The message played across every screen. You are not the first. You are not the last. You are loud, soft, kind, cruel. You are life, but you are not ready. The voice was not human, not machine. It had no shape, no emotion. It felt like a force, like thunder speaking. Dr. Amir Voss and Ellie Park rushed to the deck. They had also heard the message. Ellie looked pale. This isn't a message, it's a sentence. Dr. Voss nodded. It's judging us. Nova spoke again. The signal is coming from a massive ship. bigger than anything we've seen. It just entered the edge of our galaxy. Rhea asked, "How long until it reaches Earth?" Nova paused. 3 days. The council called it the Ark of Silence, a name taken from old alien myths about a race that watched galaxies grow and fall. No one knew if the stories were true. Now it was real. The Ark did not attack. It did not speak again. It simply moved forward, steady and slow, like a wave that could not be stopped. Humanity had 3 days to decide: fight, run, or speak. Rhea chose to speak. We've faced machines, we've faced ghosts, we've shared our pain, our hope, she told the council. Now we have to speak as one planet, not with weapons, with truth. The council was divided. Some wanted to launch every weapon Earth had, others wanted to hide underground. But in the end, they agreed. One last message would be sent. Nova and the Night Star prepared the broadcast. Rhea stood before the galaxy. She didn't write a speech. She spoke from the heart. Her voice echoed across space. We are human. We make mistakes. We hurt. We heal. We fight. We love. We are not perfect, but we try. That is our answer. The message was sent. And then, silence. The Ark stopped. For hours, it did not move. People watched, waiting. Then, light burst from the ship. Not a weapon, a hologram. A shape appeared above Earth's sky. It looked like a human, but it was not. It spoke with Rhea's voice. You are young, but you listen. You learn. You are not ready, but you are not alone. The Ark changed direction. It turned away from Earth. Nova confirmed it. They're leaving. The galaxy held its breath, and then, relief. The Ark was gone. No war, no death, but not peace either. A final message was left behind. We will return. One day, be better. Earth was safe, for now. On the Night Star, Rhea sat with her crew. Ellie smiled for the first time in days. Dr. Voss laughed. Even Nova sounded proud. We passed the test, Ellie said. Maybe, Rhea replied. Or maybe we just got more time. They all looked up at the stars. So bright, so full of secrets. Nova spoke gently. What happens next, Commander? Rhea smiled. We listen, we prepare, we grow. Because the galaxy was awake now. The whisper had started it. The vault had warned them, and the Ark had judged them. Humanity was no longer a silent world on the edge of space. They were a voice, a story, a message that others had heard. The stars were full of watchers. And now, humanity must answer, not just with words, but with what they become next. The future was coming, and the galaxy would be listening.